In today's video, I'm going to show you how to begin to get started working the Financial UA 12 steps. Beginning with the Getting Started page out of our Financial UA 12-step workbook and then moving into Step 0. And hopefully this will help you begin your process of recovery and prosperity using the Financial UA 12 steps until such a time that you can begin to work with a qualified Financial UA sponsor. So, without any delay, let's get started. Hey, welcome. My name is Jay from Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to welcome you to the Financial UA General Service Office. So come on in and grab a seat, and let's get this meeting started. Now, Financial UA is a smaller 12-step fellowship as of this date, September 2019, but our fellowship is growing significantly. One of the challenges we have as a smaller fellowship is that we only currently have 3 qualified sponsors. So it's our goal through these videos to help you begin to work your 12 steps in Financial UA until such a time that you can start working with a qualified Financial UA sponsor. So for the duration of this video, if you wish, you may consider me to be your temporary sponsor just for today. Financial UA is a relatively small 12-step fellowship. It was first formed legally in 2015, although the recovery method that we use, called the Prosperity Method, or also called the Baltimore Style for recovery, goes back at least 25 years. And since 2015, we have helped quite a number of people recover from financial under-earning. However, the challenge is that not as many of those people who have recovered from financial under-earning decided to complete their Financial UA 12-step process. Many people began the step work, but then stopped halfway through once they achieved a certain level of prosperity, and then they left. So the challenge and the dilemma that creates is that there are not as many qualified sponsors in Financial UA to help all of the new people that we have coming to this program. Currently, as of September 2019, we have 3 qualified sponsors who are doing their very best to sponsor everybody who is committed to and enthusiastic towards working the Financial UA 12-step process. But with only 3 qualified sponsors to go around as of now, it does get a little bit difficult to help as many people as we would like to help. This is the reason why we're creating this series of YouTube videos, to create a space for healing, recovery, and prosperity where we can virtually sponsor, just for today, our newer Financial UA members who would like to get started with this step work. And if you choose to work with me as your qualified temporary sponsor, just for today, I can help you begin your step work journey so that at least you will have some beginning assignments to work on and a sense of making some progress until such a time that you can find and start working face-to-face or over the phone with a qualified Financial UA sponsor. So let's begin our step work journey just for today. What we're going to cover today is the process of getting started, preparing yourself to begin working the step work, and to get you ready for starting step 0. So, let's talk about how do you get started in Financial UA. If you're brand new and you're trying to get started in Financial UA, I'd like to encourage you to click this link to watch our Getting Started in Financial UA video. Let me just summarize quickly what that video says. So for our new members in Financial UA, we have 3 gentle suggestions to help you get started in this program. The first suggestion is to attend 6 meetings. By attending 6 meetings, you will have the opportunity to get a feel for what this program has to offer over a wide range of different meetings and workshops that we have over the course of the week. That way, in your own time, you can make a decision whether or not you believe Financial UA is a good fit and a good choice for you. Also, you'll get a chance to hear the experience, strength, and hope with the other members of Financial UA, and that'll give you an opportunity to identify with what you're hearing. That way you can take what you like and leave the rest. The easiest way to identify with a new 12-step program generally is to listen to the members share their stories. When you hear people share their stories, it allows you to relate to what they're saying, to identify with what they're saying, and to connect with those experiences. And you'll know if what you're hearing makes sense for you because you'll likely be able to feel it resonate with you. You'll be able to say, you know what, that's my story. They're doing what I used to do. I relate to that. So coming to 6 meetings gives you a chance to just check out the fellowship, to do your due diligence, and to listen to other members share their experience, strength, and hope, so that you can make your decision about whether or not you feel Financial UA is a good fit for you. The second getting started suggestion is to take a guided tour of our financialua.org website. I would recommend that you consider reaching out to one of our experienced Financial UA members and asking them to take you on a guided tour of the website. We have so many resources on our Financial UA website that it would make it much easier for you to navigate and find those resources if somebody walked you through that space. We often, during our meetings and our workshops, utilize and interact with our website. So that's where you'll find all of our readings. That's where you'll find a scheduling tool to set up PRGs, action meetings, and joint prosperity teams. That's where you'll be able to engage with yet another virtual sponsorship program by utilizing audio recordings that we have, which cover steps 0 through step 12. And you'll also be able to click on and listen to speaker recordings. All of these things are available through our Financial UA website, but you might not know where to find them unless you take a guided tour of the website with an experienced Financial UA member. Our third gentle suggestion to get started in Financial UA is to, while you're attending the meetings, consider getting the phone numbers of between 5 and 10 members in Financial UA who seem to be relatively established, and when you hear them share, their shares resonate with you. You like what you hear, and you say to yourself, you know what, this person seems quite approachable, friendly, good energy, they have a good spirit, I like what they're saying, I want to hear more. In fact, I want them to tell me more. And if you get their phone numbers, and by the way, in our Financial UA meetings and workshops, we always do a phone number exchange towards the conclusion of the meeting. That way you'll be able to ask for and receive phone numbers of other members, as well as leave your phone number if you would like to request outreach and support. You will have a phone list of anywhere from 5 to 10 people and their numbers that you can reach out to say, hey, I just wanted to know if you might be available to walk me through the website for 10 to 15 minutes and show me where all these resources are that I can make use of. So the phone list and those phone numbers are going to help you in a lot of different ways. And they also serve as a resource so that if you have any questions about how to work the Financial UA program, you can always reach out to some of these people on your phone list and ask the questions to hear their experience, strength, and hope. So once you have those basic 3 suggestions, number 1, to attend 6 meetings before you make a decision, 2, to take a guided tour of the website with an experienced member, and 3, to get between 5 and 10 phone numbers of other members in the program to ask questions, to build a network. At that point, you're ready to make a decision within yourself about whether or not you want to commit to working the Financial UA recovery process. I'd like to assume that you are interested in working the process, And that's why we have this video to help you begin your process of recovery from financial under-earning. The first assignment I'd like to propose to you in this temporary sponsor relationship that you and I are building together is I'd like for you to make a decision to work the program. Again, if you've gotten this far, it's very likely that you probably have made a decision to work the program. So if you're ready, and you can decide for yourself if you're ready or not, but if you are ready, the very first thing I would like for you to consider doing is to pick one of the 12-step workshops that we offer currently, either on Tuesday night, which is for ladies only, or on Friday evening, which is for gentlemen and ladies, it's co-ed, to pick one of those two workshops to become your home group, because those specific two workshops are completely based in working the Financial UA 12 steps. And both of those workshops are led by qualified sponsors in Financial UA. In that space of either workshop, you can begin to work your Financial UA 12 steps in a supportive environment where everybody else is also working the steps, and you have a qualified sponsor who is there to guide you and share experience, strength, and hope, and offer you an assignment or two to help you begin to work the process. Additionally, you can use these videos, and if you wish, you may reach out to me as your temporary sponsor just for today to help you get started. Once you've made your decision of which home group you'd like to choose, Tuesday or Friday, and in the future, we will have additional 12-step workshops that will be popping up as we get more qualified sponsors who are ready to lead those workshops. But until then, Tuesday or Friday are your choices. The next thing I would ask for you to consider doing is to get yourself a copy of the Financial UA 12-Step Workbook. That workbook is available off of our financialua.org website, and it's available as a downloadable document. It's essentially an e-book as a Microsoft Word document that you can immediately download to your computer. Save it and use it and read it and work with it for as long as you need to. Additionally, if you are in such a position that you can't afford to get a copy of the workbook, and it's, by the way, very, very reasonably priced, less than $10 per workbook, if you need a scholarship, do reach out to us at the financialua@gmail.com email address, and we can work something out with you to help you get a scholarship. We do have a limited number of scholarships available to help some of our new Financial UA members get copies of the 12-step workbook so that they too can begin working the 12 steps with us. Looking forward, get yourself a copy of the 12-step workbook. I would also encourage you to get a pen, what I like to call a dedicated pen, meaning that you get a pen that is specifically for the purpose of doing your step work, and you keep that pen close to your workbook and also close to your notebook, which means I would recommend that you get a dedicated specific notebook or journal that is to be used only for your step work, and keep your dedicated recovery pen in your dedicated recovery notebook along with your 12-step workbook. That way all of your materials are together in one place in an organized way, because it's very difficult to do your work if your notebook is lost over here and you can't find your pen, maybe it's over there. It's nice to have all of your materials, all the things you need, all in one space. Which leads to my next gentle suggestion. I would like for you to consider looking around your home or living space to see if you can find some space. It might be a corner in a room, it might be one section of a wall where you could maybe put a desk and a chair next to, but it's one specific area of your home that you can dedicate almost in a sacred way, a spiritually sacred way, that you would make this space your recovery space. Some of our members in Financial UA refer to this recovery space as their shrine or even as their recovery laboratory. So if you want to consider yourself as having a spiritual recovery shrine or a spiritual recovery laboratory, either way works fine. It doesn't matter what you call it, but the general idea is that you have a dedicated spiritual space where you can focus on doing your recovery work, working in your 12-step workbook, perhaps watching these videos and doing your step work assignments, maybe even listening to financial UA phone calls on the conference line, or perhaps talking to your sponsor or working with your sponsor. But you can do all these things within your recovery space, and hopefully you can keep this space quite neat and tidy and well organized. That way, when you're ready to do some work, the space allows you to do the work with a very bare minimum of distractions. Now it's time for our 7th tradition. Every financial UA meeting ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. There are no dues or fees for financial UA membership. All of our meetings and workshops are completely free to attend, both over the phone and face-to-face. Please do keep in mind that we do have expenses, such as covering the cost of our website, developing new literature, and maintaining our service office. If you would like to make a 7th tradition donation, you can click the PayPal link below, or visit our website at financialua.org and click the donate button. You may also support this program by purchasing a copy of our Financial UA 12-Step Workbook or our Financial UA 12 Traditions Workbook. You can also help us carry the message by subscribing to our channel and even by sharing this video with your sponsor or your sponsee. Lastly, please consider clicking that like button, a big thumbs up for service. So at this point, you have taken care of your getting started suggestions. You've finished those. You've gotten yourself a copy of the Financial UA Workbook. You've picked a home group either Tuesday or Friday evening currently, with more workshops to come. And you've also created a recovery space for yourself where you can begin to do your work in your spiritual shrine or your spiritual laboratory, whatever you'd prefer to call it. Now it's time to help you really get started with focusing on doing this work. Let's talk about getting you started with working step 0. And at this point, you can consider yourself to be officially working the Financial UA 12 steps because you've done all of the beginning suggested actions and you've built your spiritual foundation so that now you can begin building on top of that the structure for your prosperous recovery, starting with step 0. The first gentle suggestion I'd like to make is, in your home group, find a way to take on a service position, even if it's just for that day. But find a way to actively be a part of helping to run, helping to support that workshop or group. That way you can feel like the success of that group is your success, because you're helping to make it successful by doing service. Trusted servants recover faster. I'm just offering that to you as a tip, as somebody who's been in recovery for 30 years. Trusted servants recover faster. So, let's get you onto your step 0 assignments. The very first suggestion I'd like you to take is to think about your first 6 meetings that were your opportunity to just dip your toe in the water, to just check out the fellowship before making a decision about whether or not this program was right for you. At this point, I assume that you've made your decision. I would like for you to make a committed prosperity date, which means choose a day, the day on which you really make a commitment, the day on which you make a decision from within that you want to work the Financial UA program. And that can become your committed prosperity date. From that date forward, I'd like for you to consider counting your meetings. And I would like to encourage you to begin attending meetings starting from your prosperity commitment date. So whatever your committed prosperity date is, count that, the very first meeting you attend from that point, That's meeting number 1. And then start counting forward. So I'd like to encourage you, as you count forward, counting your meetings, you might want to consider doing a 90 and 90, which means if you're able to attend 90 meetings over the course of 90 days. So that averages out to 1 meeting a day for 3 months. That suggestion, 90 meetings in 90 days, is a very, very common suggestion given across basically all 12-step programs. And what it does is it helps you as a new member in recovery to really feel like you're a part of, to get adjusted, to get comfortable, to connect with other people, to learn the ropes, to get familiar with the process, and also to build a comfort zone in recovery so that coming to a meeting or a workshop feels like coming home in a positive way. It feels comfortable, it feels comforting, it feels safe. And it's a place where you can come to be honest, to be authentic and real, to share your real self, and to share about your real struggle as you begin working the solution towards real recovery. So, consider from your committed prosperity date to start counting your meetings looking forward. As you attend each of your meetings, counting forward, I'd like you to have your prosperity notebook and your pen handy and available so that you can begin writing down the date of each meeting you attend. Also, in your notebook, you can start writing down notes of things that you hear being spoken about in the meetings or in the workshops. You can write down things that other people might have shared that resonate with you. You can take what you like and leave the rest. But it's a great place to jot down some notes to remind yourself about what it is you're learning through this recovery process, because it's hard to remember everything you hear, and you don't have to remember everything you hear. You just try to hold on to the things that have meaning and significance to you, and to do your best to absorb this program one little piece at a time. And it helps writing what you learned down in your notebook. It helps you to remember it better. And at some future point, when you become qualified to be a sponsor in Financial UA, and when you start sponsoring other people, they are probably going to start asking you a lot of questions about what was it like for you when you got started? What was your spiritual experience like? What kind of actions did you take? What did you learn when you were new? Well, if you have your prosperity notebook and you've taken notes, you'll be able to refer back to your notebook and remember exactly what it was like, what happened, and what led to you being where you are now, thinking forwards, right? But basically, you'll have a bunch of notes from when you were new that you can share with people who are new once you're a sponsor. And also, the nice part about having your recovery notebook and the workbook is that it gives you a lot of reference material so you will know how to sponsor newcomers, because all you have to do is remember how your sponsor sponsored you, and then just pay that forwards. Just do for the newcomer what your sponsor did for you. And you'll have taken notes, so you'll be able to remember all of the cool things that your sponsor taught you, and all of the suggestions and actions that your sponsor encouraged you to take, and you'll be able to offer those forward to the newcomers once you're a sponsor. Next, read over the symptoms of Financial UA. On our website, we have a page specifically dedicated to the symptoms, and we currently have 15 symptoms in Financial UA. What I'd like to recommend that you do is to read over each one of those symptoms and simply reflect on whether or not they relate to you or whether or not you identify with those symptoms. And if you want to get a head start on the next part of the step work, I would recommend in your notebook to handwrite each of those 15 symptoms in your notebook. One symptom at a time, writing it out by hand, using your prosperity pen, writing in your prosperity notebook. And as you write about that symptom, verbatim writing it from the website into your notebook, just sit with that symptom and reflect on whether or not that symptom relates to you, whether or not you can identify with that symptom. Additionally, if you have the opportunity to attend the Monday night meeting of Financial UA, which is held at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Financial UA conference call line, the Monday night meeting focuses on the symptoms, and it is also a newcomers meeting. What that means is that it's a great meeting for people who are new to the program to come and attend, so that they can share about these symptoms and share about how they might relate to the symptoms, whether they do or whether they don't, or whether certain symptoms apply to them personally. So you'll have the opportunity to share about these symptoms and how they relate to you individually. On Monday nights, we also have a speaker, and the speaker frequently talks about their experience of struggling with the symptoms. I'll tell you, as we move towards closure on our step work assignment just for today, that it really is worthwhile to take a close look at these symptoms, because as you recover from financial under-earning, the easiest way to tell whether or not you are getting better, first of all, is whether or not your finances improve, specifically your earning, income, savings, and wealth. And those are easy to tell because they're monetary, and it's easy to look at the numbers to see if the numbers are increasing and getting better. But spiritually and emotionally, the way to tell if you are recovering is to look at the symptoms and see if you are healing from the symptoms. Meaning, does the program of Financial UA help put your symptoms into remission, so that you're no longer suffering from the symptoms, so that they're no longer holding you back, because you can see that you've moved beyond the symptoms into some new territory of healthy behavior. And that is ideally where we want to help you to outgrow and heal from your symptoms as you recover in the direction of prosperity and new healthy behavior, growing closer and closer to your higher power, and channeling more and more of your earning power. With that said, I really want to thank you for sticking with this video, and I want to congratulate you for getting to the end of these beginning assignments, starting with getting started and continuing to step 0. And I want to ask you and offer you this idea as your very last assignment. How can you reward yourself for all of the work that you have done based on the assignments that I've given you and the exercises that I've shared with you so far? What kind of reward can you give yourself to acknowledge and appreciate and validate yourself for having made a decision to work this program, and for taking on and receiving these assignments and exercises from me, your temporary sponsor just for today? As we move towards closure, please visit us at www.financialua.org or email us at financialua@gmail.com. Now, let's close with our prosperity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, the wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity to afford it. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and helping us to create and hold this space for healing and recovery. Please help us carry the message by subscribing to our channel and maybe even sharing this video with others. But most importantly, keep coming back. Hey, thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.
God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity